good evening, everybody, and welcome to the EGFC Power Series 2021 Valorant Grand Finals. We are here what 6 hours, 5 hours later with our grand final matchup: Florida State University versus Washington State University. I am Septilant, that handsome man next to me, Jag, and we are stoked to be bringing you the best of the best. These 10 players, these two teams have fought tooth and nail to make it here, and now only one of them walks away that victor.
Yeah, and I want to first of all say that I think it's funny that originally it was good morning, now we are at good evenings. This has been an all-day event. Last 2 weekends, crazy Valorant action. We're finally in the thick of things, though, down to our last two teams, and they had very different journeys how to get here. FSU yet to drop a map, still undefeated overall. Washington State, they came out of their conference 2-1, only had two actual matches they had to play in that group stage. And that last one, they had to fight tooth and nail. First map, very easy. Second map, they lost handedly. Third map, all the way to overtime. But they are here. They are revved up. And FSU, they've had some time off. They've been waiting for this final matchup. They had the first semifinals. So
Yeah.
very interesting to see, whether or not, that rest will be helpful or being able to play all that extra time will get them more in the swing of things.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for Washington because they had that kind of back-to-back. They were warmed up, they were ready to go, but then we had some tech issues, and the break took a little longer than we meant for it. But now we're going to be taking a look at the map pool, I believe. No surprises to anyone ever, I'm sure. Kind of the primary tournament map pool, if you will, something that we see pretty often. It's going to be Ascent, Haven, and Icebox. The order doesn't really matter as much as the choices themselves, but Ascent, I mean, is certainly a map, and it's one that I've seen thousands of times. But Jag, talking about those team comps one more time, what do you think we're looking for on Ascent?
I mean, I think it's kind of what we saw before, the Reyna Jet double duelist combination, a Sky, a Sova, a Killjoy, kind of the way to go. Probably an Astra in there too. So maybe not the Killjoy, maybe a Sova instead. Probably a Sova or Killjoy, or maybe you just go for single duelist and then you have both of those online. So I think that's something that can be the bread and butter teams. They could go for
Right.
something a little bit crazier. We have seen KO on this map before. Maybe Chamber. I mean, we've seen a lot of Chamber today, and for the most part, it did look good. We also saw that WSU does like to pull out the Cypher on this map, so my guess they'll probably be sticking to that. Um, Beyond that, I don't think there's going to be anything too crazy.
Yeah, I truly don't think so either. And speaking of things not being too crazy, if we're looking statistically speaking at which one of these teams may be a little more dominant in the beginning, on paper, let's state that very clearly because South Florida really proved us wrong there. But Florida State, they on paper should walk away in an incredibly dominant fashion. They have not just haven't lost a game, they haven't dropped a map yet. They are technically flawless up to this point in time. So if Washington State takes even a map on them, that will be a sight to behold.
Yeah, and they said they prefer Ascent. So my guess is that this is probably their map pick, and then the next map pick is going to be the one of WSU because they are the lower seed. So I think that's how it works. Higher seed gets first map pick, then also gets the last map pick, which is Icebox. That's really what's just left.
Didn't WSU lose Icebox
They
earlier
did.
today? Yeah,
They
so we
did. That
probably don't
was
want to make it there.
if you're WSU, you definitely don't want to make it there. But you also have to win on a map that hasn't been as effective. So we're gonna have to see how that is. I mean, they did play on Ascent. No, actually, no. Think about it. They won on Ascent. So
Yes.
both teams have history of
13
winning
and
on
4.
Ascent. Yeah, so they were very effective on Ascent themselves. But this is another team that we know on paper is better. We've seen them have a more dominant performance in the
Right.
semifinals overall. Because again, like 13-4 on Ascent, that's great for you. But then you also lost the next map 13-6, and then had to go into overtime
Then
to
you
win it.
barely won the last one,
Yeah.
right?
FSU was 13-3, 13-4 back to back. That was a very exceptional performance.
Yeah, FSU probably looking to any percent speed run this grand finals if they're given the opportunity. But Washington State, we saw they're a team. They're down, but they are by no means out anywhere close. They have won. They've made it to grand finals. You don't just do that on accident. So I'm very excited to see what they can do now. Washington State, or excuse me, that's Florida State. Florida State busting out one of my personal favorite team comps of the triple Yoru. It's not something you see super often, but I think it's really niche. I think nobody expects it, right? That's pretty crazy to see. But either way, I'm really excited to see if, I doubt Yoru's going to make an appearance. We also aren't starting on Haven. The wrong map was selected, so we're starting on Ascent. We got to get that fixed. Either way, I think it's going to be unique to see on Ascent in particular. Is this just going to be Washington State kind of carrying on what they won in Ascent earlier? But Florida State, like you said, they are just as dominant, if not more, on this map. This is really going to be a battle of the best of the best.
I think it's also going to be a battle of the jet diff. Like really,
Yes.
that's it. Because
Yes.
I mean, as we saw, the jet on the side WSU really came to life in the first
Drago.
map. Second map, yeah, not nearly as effective. Third map looked really, really good. I think Drago's the one on the
Oh,
side of
yeah,
Florida
I'm sorry.
State. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Florida State. I'm thinking of Drago. I was thinking of
Washington's
Jets on Ascent, and Drago was the first one to come to mind.
Jago was insane on Ascent. So they're gonna have their hands on the side of FSU to or on the side of WSU to deal with this. But if you are able to win that battle out early, that could really be a difference maker. I think it's really who gets an operator in their hands first because both these jets look best when they have operators. I mean, they still look pretty effective with blaze storms, but the operator is kind of their key to victory. And I think either one of them can just carry like 5v1 if given the chance.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to say, you said these Jets look best with the operators, and I want to take away from your point just a little bit and disagree. These Jets look good with some Blade Storms in their hands because the amount of Blade Storm kills we have seen today have been more than I think I've seen in competitive Valorant in ages. Both Drago and Loafmane have been tearing it up with these Blade Storm kills. If they lock anything but Jet, I will be absolutely flabbergasted. I will be dumbfounded, to say the least. And on the side of Florida State, and this is gonna sound like this is gonna sound like a roast, and it's truly not meant to be, but I wonder if there's something Demetrius could play that isn't that duelist role.
It's a good question, but it looks like they want to keep it the way it's been, not too surprising. I mean, this is the exact same comps we've seen from both teams when they did it, right? The Aroma going to be on that Cypher on attack again. Not too surprising. Florida State, they do want to go with the double duelist setup, so it's locked in now. Yeah, this is kind of exactly what we expected across the board, honestly.
Right. Yeah, no surprises on either side. I mean, a little bit surprising that Florida State is going to choose not to have a Sky, but I think in the comp they're running, it's either the Sky or the Astra. Swapping anybody else out is clunky. I think Iffy's been on this Astra the whole time, so if it ain't broke, certainly no need to fix it. And looking at the other side, Washington State, or excuse me, no, that is Florida State. The overlay is flipped, but Florida State, they are... yeah, sticking to that tried and true. No surprises at all. But I want to keep an eye on this Astra v Sky. Is one of those character choices going to make enough of a difference to carry their team further down the line?
I think it's the Killjoy you got to replace.
Sorry, yeah, Killjoy v Sky, not Astra. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could also go for the Sova, but I feel like the Sova is more of a must pick than, you know. So it's very interesting. I mean, it makes sense to have a Killjoy on defense, right? Because it's really good to have a Sentinel. I mean, I think the Sentinel is a Cypher. Again, we've already tried to put Aroma, like, it works, so I'm not going to question it this time around. I've already seen it once, so very good for post-plant scenario. I think this guy's going to make it very hard on their attack. I think on defense, it's not going to be as difficult because you do have that KJ still. So she can use Nano Swarms, she can just use her turret. There's a lot of ways to potentially deter attackers, but you're not going to have that same CC. You're really going to rely on your Reyna to hit her Leers here, and the Leers, they might hit blind people, but they don't have that recon. You don't actually know if the Leer hits anyone.
Right, you have no idea what the Leer is going to be able to do in terms of blocking people. You just have to kind of peek the corner and pray. And I want to comment, for Aroma to be locking this Cypher, it's really interesting because I feel Cypher is truly kind of fallen out of the meta, but Aroma locking Cypher every single time shows that maybe they're just a bit more of a specialist, more of a more consistent player on this, and it worked, like you said, it's worked for Florida State so far. They haven't dropped a map with it. Let's see if that's going to make an impact here. Loafmane looking for that first blood, but instead almost will be the first blood. Drigo is going to be able to find that kill onto Loafmane. Florida State starting like they left us, just dominant as always, able to find that first kill. They've got to find 4 more to really seal the deal.
This is exactly how they played it last time. They played it very, very slowly, and it worked out perfectly because they were able to take their shots. And that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. That's going to be 4v1 when all is said and done. This is looking very good for Florida State on this first attack. It's a team ace. Do they get the plant, though? They don't. No, so that's going to be a few credits left on the board that they could have potentially had otherwise.
Yeah, the team ace is cool. Doesn't really add to your econ by any means. You know, a team ace not as cool as watching somebody get a 5K on their lonesome, but you know, so pretty neat. And we're gonna be keeping an eye out here. Florida State, like you said, they don't get as many creds as they could have if they were able to land that spike plant, but maybe they're gonna be able to get some kills here, win the second round as expected anyway, because Washington State, they can't win they can't buy a darn thing here.
No, they can't. They're going to have to go for full classics. Not even going for the shorty buy. You know, sometimes you see the cheeky shorty in the corner, gets 1 or 2 kills, maybe a surprise. But here, just all classic all the time. All natural, I guess, is what you spawn with. And that tells me that Washington State kind of realizes, like, hey, FSU doesn't have as much credits as they could have. So, you know, if we completely save, we're going to be in a great advantage next round.
And that great advantage can be the one that makes the difference at the end of the...
Here.
Oh, there we go. I believe I'm back. Hello, that was odd. I don't know what happened there, but I have returned. D-Man's gonna be waiting for just a moment around the corner. Go, facing the wrong way! Migs just puts him down. One to the dome is all you need, and that's gonna be one player falling already. Another one was already gone, so Florida State, they are in an advantage 5-3. A prime opportunity to succeed and walk away with this second round.
Oh yeah, Demetrius, not even looking for it. And I actually lagged there too, so it wasn't just you. We were in that one together. So it was all of Florida State. Again, they lose one, but that's it. Still get, they get the plant this time, so there's that extra credits that they unfortunately lost that on last time. That round went basically just as well as you expected. We did see at WSU get 1 kill from it, but this is the round they've been waiting for, that full buy opportunity, but they are putting it all on the line. They have nothing left if they lose this one out. And FSU, we know that they do not care about your bonus. They will still take you, and they will still get that round off of you. So WSU, gotta be careful here. Don't do anything crazy here. Even though you've got the better weapons, you're on defense. I think the biggest thing is just don't play super over aggressive. That cost them a lot of nice box.
Yeah, a phrase that we've been kind of dancing around tonight is know when to hold, know when to fight, right? We just don't want to see a bit of an aggressive overextension because that's a lot of the reason they've gone down early. Like you said, we've seen that bite them in the butt a few times already, and I would hate to see it happen again. However, if he finds one, gets taken out by OKZ in the same breath, so an immediate 1-for-1 trade, that opens up A site entirely for Florida State. However, they guarantee themselves the spike plan. You see D-Man's going for a bit of a slow rotation, spamming through hell, looking for that flashbang kill. Nothing coming of it quite yet. The entirety of Washington State currently just vibing on that high ground. Gotta be careful though. They put all their eggs in one basket like that. It's quite easy to take them down in a spray and pray. Speaking of a spray, D-Man's able to pick up 2. Dinsky picks 1 more up. Loafman finds a kill in Washington State. That was a very blink and you miss it moment, but they win the round regardless.
Yeah, those great. There were some great shot darts that came out there from WSU. Some very well-timed ones from Dinsky, able to get not only some damage and health, but also on the person trying to hold on to the spike location. It's a round win for WSU. They only lose 2, so that's not terrible. I think anything more than that would be kind of a bad loss, quote unquote. Right. There is gonna be a bit of discussion though about what to buy here, as it looks like Iffy gonna have to go for a judge. D-Ban's also gonna have to go for a little bit of a lighter buy. Gets a gun, but has to go for light armor. Everyone for Florida State can buy here, so it's an advantage definitely for the attackers in this scenario, but just a slight one. Biggest thing is they have to do Hunter's Fury online, so if they do get the spike point, they could try to use that to stop the recontest.
Right, and a slight advantage is still an advantage. You know, some of these teams can be given an inch and take a mile, so they need to be able to play their cards right. Go for that full-blown proper extension instead of holding W and engaging, you know, not utilizing any of the utility they have at the ready. Could be the mistakes to be made, but if they play it careful and if Florida State groups up a little bit more, they're pretty spread out right now, and I'm not particularly fond of that play style. We've got like 2 in mid, 2 like almost on A long, and then Cypher is just out on his lonesome. He's rotating in toward mid as well, so Aroma grouping up with the team. It looks like they're going to go for an A push, possibly through tree. This is going to be tough, especially with Demetrius on the other side. They might walk in right in a line and get 5K. However, Aroma going to the midfield here, gives himself away with the spray. But even finding a kill here wouldn't matter if somebody knew where you were at. It's just more about the eliminations. Here comes that quick push. They're they're going for a choke here. They're going to come through A long and through tree in an effort to make the magic happen.
Unfortunately, my feed seems to be lagging a little bit, but it does look like Migs is the first one taken out. He's going to be traded out immediately, though, and I'm just fast-forwarding into the future. Drago is just doing work.
We get all the content at once.
Yeah, all of a sudden, it is a 4v3, and great positioning. But again, like that Hunter's Fury, it needed to be the win con, but they're on point, so that's going to be a really difficult angle to hit.
Yeah, landing the Hunter's Fury is going to be incredibly difficult. Now, Washington State, it's possible to win this, especially with the KJ util, but in reality, you're in such a health disadvantage. You're sub 50, you've got 1 gun, you miss your first spray, you miss the second one, and you catch a couple of bullets out of OEZ there. Florida State, they find their 3rd round, where statistically, and I know I keep talking about statistics, but it's how I cast the game, Washington State, they are supposed to win that round, so this is supposed to be a 2-2.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that they lost 2 on the round they finally were able to win, and they just didn't have enough economy to go for the full buy. The judge especially, if you hold a corner and you're able to find a surprise kill, it works out really well, but you can't go into those long-range battles, so the superior firepower for Florida State really helps them get across the goal line there, able to win another round, build up that lead, and Drago now starting to come online just a little bit. That was their best round so far in this series. And wait. What was that? I think they might have DC'd there. That movement was very interesting.
That may have been a DC, or that may have been a bit of VM. Oh, no!
Oh, there it
gone.
is.
Drago disconnects. Looks like we're having a couple of connection errors on our side as well. If he finds a kill onto Okiz, and yeah, that was super confusing. I was like, yeah, maybe I don't know what's going on, but that DC is definitely going to hurt. Now we jump through time together as Aroma finds one down to 3 HP. Drago has returned to the fight, but Aroma has gone down as a 4v1. Florida State, that really stinks. That is not a good thing to happen to lose a player like that.
I think a big part of that is the fact that there was that disconnection. I mean, they're even talking about it. Love saying, hey, what just happened to your jet? And unfortunately, they are gone. So what should have been a very easy round for Florida State kind of just vanished as they all kind of dissipate. I guess like it seems like after they lost Drago, they didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And Seekers are there, but 4v1, so many ultimates on the other side. At this point, just getting one kill on top of the spike plan is a win here.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Seekers, but I really hope you don't commit them. 4v1's a tough thing to win. You almost find the elimination, but almost only counts in hand-shoes and horse grenades, right? So it's going to be another round win for Washington State. It's not the end of the world. As unfortunate as excuse me, oh my goodness, as unfortunate as that is for FSU, it's truly not the end of the world. They're still up by a round. Hopefully that reconnect has solved all those lag issues they were having, and they can jump right back into the swing of things.
Looks like they're back in now, so no need for a tech pause or anything like that, which is good. But you give up a lot of weapons. I mean, look at this. All of a sudden, WSU has a really nice weaponry stash to deal with. They have the operator on loan. Loafman had a so-so even game thus far, but I mean, I'm gonna say it. I think they look best the operator. Definitely have some great plays with the blaze term as well, but I'd rather like see you just hold it down constantly on a good angle than have to go for those huge pop-off plays.
You're not going to catch me disagreeing that much, I'm sure of. Loafman here, waiting, going for that steady gameplay, but a great Astra smoke gets in the way, disrupts any momentum they had of being able to approach through that mid site there. Drago hops that blade storm, so he's back in the game. He's a little upset. He, had to DC, possibly lost a round for his team. Well, not that it was his fault, but, he's upset that the team lost a round nonetheless. Coming in through this blade storm through mid, might get a rude awakening from Loafman to fill the cards right. It's Retro who's the first one to go down. Demetrius is going to find an elimination onto Aroma. Drago trying to save the day, but still might be having a ping error or two. It seems like his movement's a little bit wobbly. That may just be because he's, getting infina stunned in a corner here, infina flash, but still really just struggling to find this engagement. There's one kill though. Loafman from behind takes his head clean off his shoulder. 4v2 in favor of Washington State. They're looking to tie this one up.
That was a 3v1, and the fact that they're able to get anything out of it is pretty good. Unfortunately, Ozuke can't get much more. The site's locked down, and that DC really could have changed the swing of this early game. I feel like it seems like they were destined to go up and have a 5-2 lead, something along those lines, and all of a sudden they find themselves tied up once more. This is not how they wanted things to go, and unfortunately, that is how the cookie crumbles. No buy here. Florida State gonna have to do this the thrifty way if they want to get a round win.
Yeah, and I was slightly worried about having a ping error situation because Florida is, of course, in Florida, and Washington State is, you guessed it, in Washington State, which is about as far as you can be apart while remaining on the continent. So this is going to be a tough situation in terms of lag. We may see some ping spikes here and there. Hopefully they aren't awful. We're trying to find a lobby in the middle, but 5v4, Florida State already losing somebody early on. That operator is in the hands of Washington State early, and they might just get to run away with it.
Yeah, and I mean, really, I say like you do have to just sit back and relax because Florida State, they're the ones in the attack. So Washington State, you don't have to go out, you don't have to waste ultimates. You can just wait for them to run into your utility. You can wait for them to run into the angles you have set up. And this should be a very easy round as long as you don't overcommit to anything here. And it seems like for the most part, they are just doing that. They're just waiting patiently.
Yeah, overcommitment is the name of the game. If you do it and it fails, of course, your team is going to be worse for wear because of it. If you play your cards right, you let them approach you, you can get kills just like that. Dixie able to find Drago early on. Aroma down, Retro gone, and it's up to Okiz to try and save the day, but Loafman not going to miss that shot. A flawless round victory for Washington State, who now finds themselves up 4-3.
Yeah, and that was very clean, flawless as well. So that's huge because that means they took nothing away from Washington State, which means they can just buy up all their abilities and their economy. Like, look at this. Like, 3 of them are past 7,000 credits currently. One of them was only 50 away. This is very, very good. WSU could buy for 3 rounds of losses in a row and still be able to compete. So that DC really has changed things very dramatically. All of a sudden, WSU, they're the ones that look in the driver's seat, but Florida State, this is their time to roar back to life.
Yeah, like you said, it's their time to come back to life. The Liberator is at the ready. You've just got to find the moment to use it. Now my feed, of course, is giving me its best impersonation of a slideshow. Okay, we're going to be coming right back into it. Okies is going to be able to find a lot of damage with the Hunter's Fury, but unfortunately, no kill gets taken out by Loafmane's op even, so we won't get to hear the rest of that Hunter's Fury making an appearance again. Aroma falls to Dinsky, and Spike Plant already coming through from Florida State. They're down by just one, I think. You know, this is going to be tough. 4 ultimates are waiting to take you out. And there's one of them, the Hunter's Fury coming out early. Loafmane already able to find Biggs. Dinsky looking for a kill of his own, but not happening quite yet. The Blades, okay, maybe a massive overcommitment from Washington State here. You get a 4K with the Blade Storm, but you used Blade Storm, Cosmic Divide, and Hunter's Fury. That is...
You only have 1 ultimate left. That's a lot there.
Yeah.
And Loafmane might get the highlight reel plays there, but other than that, what was... like, I don't, that was not, I think that especially the Cosmic Divide wasn't needed, but even I would say the Blaze Storm wasn't needed. You already had control of that site pretty easily, and it was just time for you to kind of roll over them.
You had the
This
site,
league continues to build up.
You had everything you needed. I'm really confused on why they choose to use that ultimate there, but, you know, I'm sure these players would dunk on me any day of the week, so maybe they just knew what was going on. Maybe somebody that was dead did that thing that was like, hey, don't forget you have your ultimates, and then everybody ulted at the same time, because I've seen that happen 1,000 times over, but, you know, interesting. Washington State still wins. They're always going to keep in mind, you know, toward the future. Let's see if that hurts them down the line. There's a situation where they needed that ult, and they simply don't have it.
And ultimates are very low on the side of Florida State, so that's the one thing. But they are able to take away the operators, so that is huge. Could be another plant scenario. This is really the first time in a while that it looks like they actually have something going for them. And they also, this was a light buy. Like, it was, you know, not a full thrifty buy. They did its Spectres, but it's definitely not as good as it could be. It's definitely a weapon advantage for Washington State. They're going to commit the lockdown here to try to stop any more aggression.
Committing the lockdown is going to be huge here. It actually finds a detain. Oh my goodness, I feel like you never see those. We've seen 2 today already. It's going to be Van going for just that spray and breaking dose on the other side of that smoke. He's just not completely sure who. If he anything but able to find a great double kill. Migs with a double kill of their own. Dinsky takes Migs out of the equation, and Florida State, they've got the health advantage, but they have not approached the court fast enough. They walk right into Dinsky's line of sight and just get taken out 1 by 1. Washington State going up 6-3 right now.
I love how the plant defuse comes in literally just as the final elimination comes in. I was like thinking, like, what is it going to be here? It was the defuse that officially won them the round, but Dinsky was getting it done anyway. Great play there to stop what could have been a very disastrous thrifty round from FSU, but Washington State, ever since the VC, has been in the drive 5 rounds in a row, by the way. 5 rounds, gets to at least a guaranteed halftime draw. Could get a lot more than that, depending on how the rest of this goes. Florida State, they can buy again, but again, no ultimates, so there's really nothing to play off of. They got to look for that default pick, and that wasn't enough last time because they didn't have the weaponry to follow up on it.
Yeah, and it's not even, like you said, it's not even like the scoreline is just, oh, you know, 6-3. In fact, Washington has won 5 rounds in a row. Like, by golly, they are rooting, they're tooting, and they're ready for shooting. They're taking out Florida State every single round. Speaking of which, Drago falls early to Iffy there, who then falls to Migs in return. Now looking at a 4v4 for just a moment. Loaf finding Migs with a close quarters op. D-Man takes out Okizi. Loafman goes down to Retro. 3 in favor of nobody. It's a 2v1 now in favor of Washington State. Demetrius, Aroma finds 1. You just need 1 more, and it's Demetrius, the bottom frag on the roster right now, but you've taken a bit of damage. 58 HP, 26 HP, and a dream. Can Aroma clutch when his team needs him most? Goes for the cage, pays attention to the wrong side of it. Is this going to bite him in the butt? There it is. Demetrius around the far flank finds the round win. Washington State going up 7-3.
When you see the slight hesitation there, that's when you know, uh-oh, I saw some out of the corner of my eye, and I don't have enough time to go for the swing. There, they can't get it done, and looks like as this league continues to grow, we should have another round for Washington. Florida, they're really starting to fall behind now. They're not used to this. This is what they were doing to other teams, and suddenly they find themselves into what should be an 8-3. This is a save round for Florida. This will be very, very hard for them to get it done.
Yeah, and I want to see, you know, you made a great point there. Even when we talked to Florida State earlier today, he was saying, you know, there hasn't been a moment where our mental's really down, like we've never been on the wrong side of a game. So this very well, realistically, maybe the first time this is happening to them. And this
will be their first map
they
loss.
have to adjust insane. I mean, they have to make some incredible changes right now just to turn this around. Drago going for my favorite jet plays in the game where you double updrafted. Just get crazy up close and personal, finds a kill, but then gets killed by Dinsky. Wasn't able to cover all of the angles in enough time to really make that magic happen. We're playing that patience, that waiting game now. And it's going to be 4v4. The next kill could very well be the one that secures this victory.
Cosmic Divide is available too, but they're not committing it, and because of that, they lose their Sova.
Yeah, losing your Sova is not what you want to do in a scenario like this one. Demetrius finding Retro 4v2. Such a tough situation. Migs finds the op. Aroma down. Oh, you do not pick up the op in a 1v3. These are going to have to be insane shots. Migs finds one, misses the second, takes a bit of damage in the process, and Dinsky puts them down. Mixter goes down, and Washington State is up 8-3.
I think the crazy part about all of this is that Florida State's actually been more competitive on their save rounds for the most part. The last, like, 3 or 4 rounds, they've kept it very close-knit, but still cannot finish it off. That time it came down to 2 players. Before, I think it was a 1v1. So they're battling, but they just have not looked the same for a while. And I talked about this before, like, they're coming in cold. I'm sure they've been warming up in their own way, but it's not the same as playing an actual match.
Right.
And
oh, of course not.
They're hurting real bad. I mean, this lead, it could be the 9-3. So maybe they're going to be happy about that. The 9-3 curse comes through, but Washington State has a really nice lead.
Yeah, Washington State, like you said, just a very comfortable lead, one that they can really start to run away with down the line. It's going to be all about Florida State in terms of, we saw them earlier today. They can get, we've seen other teams earlier today get absolutely stomped in map 1 and then clutch all the way back, almost win in a map 3 grand final, so on and so forth. But now the Hunter's Fury making an appearance, Loafmane already finding Migs. Dinsky pops that HF, but I mean, I really don't know if he needed it. Washington State is up 5-2. Oh, and Florida State choosing to commit the Seekers here. I can't say that I'm particularly fond of that, but you're right. This is the last chance they have to use it. You gotta do what you gotta do. Retro able to find 1 kill. Can you find, 4 more? OKZ picks up Iffy. Oh, the dart. Oh, okay, takes very little damage in the swing here, but the wall bangs just dumping away. Picks up 1 on the D-bands with Demetrius on the corner. That's going to be a 9-3 lead for Washington State. The game starting off so unbelievably competitive, but Jag, you were spot on. Ever since that DC happened, I mean, Florida State has not been able to find their foot.
I'm sure right now they're saying, all right, 9-3 curse, it's real. It has to be real, right? That's what they're trying to tell themselves. It has to. We'll see if it is. But I will say this is definitely an offensive-sided map, in my opinion, so it usually isn't that one-sided. Washington State definitely has a bigger lead than most teams will get in a matchup this close. But it's not over for Florida State. There's definitely a potential for them to bring it back here. They have defense now. I think their comp is better on the defense. And we talked this before. The Cypher seemed to work last time in attack here. Not doing as much, unfortunately. But this is the time for Aroma to bring it back, help the team out, and maybe they can even things up. 6 rounds in a row. We saw it from one side. Now it's going to be done from Florida State.
Getting up close and personal with a frenzy. Wow! Mixer doesn't even get a moment to breathe. Aroma finds D-Bands, takes out Loafmane as well. Demetrius is going to be able to find that counter kill, a 3-3 matchup. Sova alive on both sides, 4 individual agents other than those 2. But let's see who's able to find that next kill. The equalizer is Drago falling. Oh, never mind. Retro's takes out Demetrius, Dynasty, Dinsky, dang it, will find OKZ. A lot of interesting S words happening today, but Washington State, they win their 10th round already in double digits. This is a grand final. The last game felt more like a grand finals than this one.
We've been playing, like, we've been casting for, like, what, 6 hours now, 6 maps. So, yeah, it happens. It gets the best of us. And right now, Washington State is definitely getting the best of Florida State. That pistol round was going to secure them. Double digits, probably another round as Florida. They are not going to overcommit. They are not going to force buy here. This is where it gets dire. Washington, they should have this round in the bag.
Yeah. Drago goes down so quickly. That is not what you want to see. Loafmane walking in, finding a triple kill. Not even walking, dashing in. Dashing through the blood of their opponents. No way Loaf's about to pick up a Spectre ace. Already able to find a 4K. It is just the Astra left, and she's off on A side on her loan, so Mixter has a classic to live by. This is just so wildly, unbelievably dominant in favor of Washington State right now. Florida State, like you said, for the first time, this could be their first map loss ever. Mixter takes out Loaf, no ace in sight with now Washington just gets to storm in and secure that kill.
Yeah, and that was the round we expected them to win, so not too surprising. Florida State, this is where they make their last stand. If they lose this, their potential to force buy is not going to be good. So if they lose this and they at least eliminate, a lot of people get, you know, some credits under their or in their bank account, then it works out. Then you can be able to force buy again. And this should be a win for them, honestly, because they do get the bonus here. Washington State, they're mostly working with Spectres, and their top fragger is currently rocking a Sheriff. But it's not, you know, it's not a guarantee. We always say that the bonus run is not a guarantee.
Yeah, we've learned time and time again, especially with a Blade Storm making an appearance. Loafman trying to be the absolute menace that is needed right now. Tear this team apart, limb from limb. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. An immediate hard dash onto A site. It's going to be D-Band, the first one down. The Blade Storm sounded like it may have all missed, but Washington State seems like they didn't need it. They're up in that 4-3 advantage. I mean, they're in an 11-3 advantage right now, but you know, Mixer's going to be able to find one. Drago finds another. Dinsky will fall. 3v2 Florida State for the first time in ages. They find themselves in the advantage. Okies finds Loafman. It's up to Iffy to be the hero this team needs. Drago takes them out in Florida State. They finally remember what it's like to put a round win under their belts.
Yeah, that was an awkward interaction at the end. I don't think they're going to be able to win that out anyway, but they get all the way behind onto Heaven. They try to put down a Nebula, and instead they get hit. They go out of the astral plane. They go back in and still get, like, I'm not exactly sure what that interaction was, but regardless, that was the bonus round being won by Florida State. Expected, does come in for them, but see that Park and Retro struggling a bit, so have to be bought for Retro, at least Park now. See what they end up doing as the round starts. Washington State do look like they have a slight advantage, but the Neural Theft is there for Florida State if they get that first elim.
Neural Theft could be huge. Of course, like you said, it's an ultimate you can only use in, you know, when you have a dead body to use it on. D-Bands, though, you can down whenever you'd like. They're going to be opening up this B site very early on. What is that? 7 of the 10 players currently in radius, 5 of them being Washington State. But let's see what they're going to be able to do to roll out of it. They have just smoked Florida State out of that B site entirely. A couple of them gonna get stuck. Drago, not a couple, just Drago, caught on the wrong side in market there. Nobody's there to capitalize on the kill. Washington, they're looking for the spike plant. They'll get the kill when they need to. That spike plant guarantees them additional creds moving into the next round. This is just unbelievably dominant. We talked about how both these teams have won this map 13-4. Washington State, they're looking to do that all over again. That's gonna be another round in favor, 12-4. Washington State just tearing up the game right now.
Yeah, this is not what we expected whatsoever, and there's still at least another map to go, so maybe things will change, but Washington State has looked on fire. And this is the last round. It's going to be a force buy. You see that right now only Migster can buy the Phantom. Maybe they're going to give something to Drago. They do, so Drago's bot force. They give their top fragger, though not top fragging in this game, but overall has been a menace for everyone to deal with in most series. Better firepower, but this is really their last stand. Washington State, they also have an Empress. There's just so much going for them. I don't see them losing this round. If they do, it's going to be a disaster for them.
Yeah, and, you know, this is every round from here on out is Florida State's last attempt to keep Ascent alive because they are down 12-4. D-Band's going to be able to find that first elimination onto Migs. Dimitri's already down to the Empress, not making an appearance not in this round. If Florida State wins this one, maybe it shows up next time, but they're tied up right now, 4-4. We've seen them lose several of these already. Park finds Band, but gets traded out by Dinsky there. 4-4 turns to 3-3 to Silva alive on both sides of the Jet as well. Then an Astra v Sky matchup. OT going for a shock dart quick. Drago puts down Dinsky. Loafman on the low ground. Drago and Retro just tearing them apart 3-1. They know exactly where he's at in the wall bang. Puts him down. Florida State, they live another day. They keep the dream alive here on Ascent.
Absolute disaster. I said it had to be disaster if they lost it, and they do it to 2 Vandals. They take one out immediately. That was the Astra who had it on the side of Florida State. They are the first to fall, but Drago stays alive. Great utility there from the Sova on the side of FSU. Great recon. They know exactly where everyone is, and then they just collapse. Even with the gun disadvantage, they're able to still find the shots they need, and all of a sudden they have 3 ultimates online as well as a full buy, and it's going to be very hard. Very much an uphill battle as they still have 7 rounds they need to win if they want to get into contention here. But it's all of a sudden not impossible. And Drago has a Blade Storm, which is why they're not buying a gun.
Yeah, the Blade Storm in lieu of the gun is a dangerous thing to do, but you know, if you kill somebody, you just walk over and grab their weapon instead. It's not the end of the world. It does not have to be. And Now Retro able to find one, gets traded off by Low from the blink of an eye. That Empress was popped, but Demetrius was the first one down. So the Empress completely down the drain. A 4-4 matchup. Low knows somebody's on that corner. A little bit of damage going both ways, but nobody falls. OKZ picks up Dinsky. Drago on the high ground. Not able to find a kill either. Iffy. We made an if-diff joke. Yeah, iffy, diffy. I don't know if that works. Never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. Anywho, Florida State, they are coming in hot. Iffy able to find OKZ as well. 3v2 up. 2v2. Mixer is going to be able to take out Loaf, man. The Neural Theft, I like it. It gives you exactly what you need to know. You know they're on site. Where are they at? Never mind. It literally does not matter as a bullet goes through both of your brains in simultaneous, and D-Bands wins the map for Washington State in a fashion of 13-5. Much more dominant than I thought that was going to.
I think that was a collateral from D-Bands because that was 2 back-to-back kills for them, and we only saw the forward POV of the Cypher, so we didn't know there's someone behind them. That was not the way you wanted to play that. You did not want to stack in that scenario that the Nanoswarm had just gone out as well. D-Bands was on a sliver of health, I think 6 health
I think it was 6,
at the end of that, and they still are able to win that out. We did see life from Florida State. They were able to get a few more rounds before all is said and done, but overall, Washington State just looked absolutely in top form, and they're going to a map that they prefer. I'm pretty sure the next map is going to be Haven. That is the map that they said they like the best, so this is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be interesting indeed. We saw them win on Haven in a 14-12 overtime moments ago. The game before this one, we saw them secure that spot in Grand Finals, and now they have made a dominant showing over a team that is officially no longer undefeated. So they have lost that first map. Will they lose one more? Time will tell. We're going to throw it to a short break, folks. Use this time. Get up, get water, go do whatever you want. But come right back here in just a couple of minutes for our second and possibly final map of the EGFC Power Series 2021 Valorant Edition. We'll see you soon. Don't go far.
You to breathe in. Let me be your air. Let me roam your body freely. No inhibition, no fear. How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? What What devotion are you? How deep is your love? Is it like Nirvana? Hit me harder again. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? Pull me closer again. How deep is your love? 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 Open up my eyes and tell me who I am. Let me in on all your secrets. No inhibition, no sin. How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? What devotion are you? How deep is your love? Is it like Nirvana? Hit me harder again. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? Pull me closer again. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love?
Well, hey there, gamers. Welcome back to our second map of the Grand Finals. Florida State University currently in a 0-1 deficit to Washington State University. We're going to be jumping into our second map, Haven, which both these teams have, of course, won before. Most recent being Washington State in a 14-12 overtime victory to guarantee their spot in Grand Finals. But Jag, Haven is very different from Ascent. What do you think we're going to from Florida State here to succeed?
I think again it has to be jet play. I mean, it looks like Drago after that DC like just didn't look like the play that we were expecting, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff it can shake you honestly. Like mentally, like, it can get really into your head. Like, oh, like I cost my team that last round because of what happened, and you just never really recover. So you gotta dust it off, let it go to the side, and just play this like it's a 0-0 series. Forget about that last map. Just get a mental reset and continue to do what you did before. Because the team you're going up, they're not slouches whatsoever. They are very, very good. We already talked about the team competitions on our last Haven match, so instead of talking about them, I think we can just get right into the agent selects and then kind of see it how it develops, see if there's anything that we don't expect coming into fruition. I think the biggest thing is, do we see Chamber again?
Do we see Chamber? I think the other two kind of quote wild card end quotes would be a Phoenix or a Breach. I think Breach works really well on Haven here, but that's kind of a new element in the top tier pro scene. So people at the lower ranks and so on may still kind of be learning that. In a grand finals, we can tell by their map choices that these teams are not looking to take any risks. They chose the three in quotes competitive Valorant maps in Washington State. Looking to bust out my personal favorite comp, that triple Yor. Nobody expects it, blows your mind every time. But no, realistically, yeah, Florida State they did pick Chamber, so Aroma for the first time I think not on that cipher. This is gonna be a momentum shift for sure.
Yeah, gonna be probably from the fact that they watched the match that happened before. They got to watch Washington State. That's kind of the fun things about not playing is you can see who your opponents are gonna be. So I'm sure they saw that the chamber was brought out from WSC. Probably want to try to recreate it themselves. And we'll see how that happens. The EBNs looked best when they were on this chamber. I think they looked really unstoppable, honestly. That's gonna be one hard, I guess, matchup to equal up to, but Park, Aroma gonna have to do it here.
Absolutely. And while you guys are waiting for the next 19 seconds to close, here's your super friendly reminder to follow EGF. You can follow us on Twitch, you can follow us on Twitter, you can follow us on
Select your
TikTok,
agent.
you can follow us on Instagram, you can follow us on any of those things. I think it's just at official EGF on all of them. So go ahead and give us a follow on all of those places because we love you and we love making things for you guys, and it would be super if you could drop a follow and support EGF and everything they do. There's FIFA, there's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, there's Rocket League, there's Overwatch, there's Counter-Strike, there's Valorant now, and there's a bunch of other stuff. There's League of Legends as well, and more into the break and the spring split. Okay, enough about EGF. I love it here. I love everybody here, but we're here to talk about Valorant. We're here to talk about Washington State University being 13 rounds away from 2-0ing an undefeated team up to this point. Florida State, they need to pull out all their stops. They need to hold zero things back. All their cards are on the table right here, right now. This could be our final map of the ground.
And this is the thing we're going to be talking about again. The Reyna versus the Sky. Florida State, we thought that would give them the edge, having that entry, having that group healing, and yet it was Washington State coming up clutch, despite the fact that they didn't really have anything to help them heal up. The only one that can heal up is the Reyna, and they can only heal themselves. So they're basically sticking to the exact same comps. The only difference is, instead of Sentinels, it's going to, well, it is a Sentinel, but, you know, instead of the other Sentinels, it's going to be Chamber coming out for this one. Really just a triple duelist or double duelist for Florida State. So it'll be really intriguing to see how these characters, these agents, are played out, as Drago going to be looking to get aggressive early on.
Getting aggressive early on is exactly how Florida State has tried to play this time and time again. Are they going to be able to pull it off here? Because it really did not work out well on Ascent. Maybe Drago was able to reset during that break, get their computer figured out a little bit more. And like you said, every single map needs to be nothing short of just a GG go next. You stare a loss in the face and you laugh. You look forward to the future. Let's see if Florida State is going to be able to flip this one around, keep their eye on the prize, and walk away with a second map victory. They can force Icebox if they win this one. But Washington State wins it here. That brings the entire tournament to a close. Dinsky with that first blood. Aroma not far behind. Retro onto Iffy and Drago already a dream, gonna get healed up by that overgrowth. Aroma gets the spike plant, and Florida State, they are tied up in a 3-3 scenario. Washington, they have got the pincer maneuver happening as we speak. Loafmane in particular coming around quick. A double push in onto site. There's one. Drago down. Here comes the other. It's Retro down. It is a 3v1. Aroma has to do what feels impossible. Gets out of the line of fire, but the defuse already coming through. You do not want to save on a pistol round. You want to go out the hero, and he does just that. Not able to win the round. Washington State, look how low they all are. They just barely win it. 3 players left.
I feel like it was still going to be really hard, but the fact that they were all that weak, caught that weak, there could have been a chance if you'd been a little bit faster on the draw there. That slight hesitation of, do I save? Realizing it's the pistol round, oh no, I gotta go in. Can't get the shots needed, and Washington State going to start out with a W here. In the pistol round now, they get the Spectres, to the victors go the spoils, as usually is. Florida State gonna have a tough time going up against the superior firepower, but Drago does commit to a Sheriff, so you never know. A Sheriff can easily one-tap someone.
Yeah, Drago's been pretty schnasty on this Sheriff so far. He has been rooting, he has been tooting, and he's been ready for shooting. And those are my 3 requirements for an effective Sheriff user. So I want to see if Drago is going to be able to use this Sheriff a little more consistently. Like we said, there was that DC, and Drago hasn't felt like Drago, but now is your time to shine, my friend. Demetrius already finding a kill in favor of Washington State. Okazi, critical condition. They're 34 HP, just barely able to get out by the skin of their teeth. But they will fall if he's able to catch them out. 4v3. Drago finds one already. Demetrius down. Can you find one more? Can you tie this up? But Loafmane still alive. Scariest jet in the game right now, and it's going to be all about Washington State having that numbers advantage.
Use your Sky, so there's no healing, there's no guiding light, and now there's no Astra. It's just a 1v1, and you dash right in, but you win it.
Wow, the dash in, bold as bold can be, but it works out well. The question, Drago, can you do that 3 more times with absolutely no utility? No, you cannot. Dinsky is going to put them down in the blink of an eye. They don't even get to fire their own weapon. Washington State winning that second round, but that's okay. They're supposed to win that one. This is Florida State's time to fight back.
Wazoo looking at so clean right now. That's a nickname for them, by the way. I know that because I grew up in Seattle. Anyway, they probably should lose this round because against the bonus, Florida State will have better weaponry. They also lost 2 along the way.
Right.
We always talk about this. Okay, Blueman, please don't do this because that is not the play. Don't go for the Vandal here. That's not the move. That's not what you should be going for. Maybe if you had a Blazer and commit to that, but I don't think they did in the end. I was really worried about that. We always talked about how that ruins an economy because you don't have the full buy. Luckily, yeah, gonna be the classic, able to dash out of that, but it's still not looking good for WSU, at least in this round.
Yeah, things are not looking good for Washington in the round. You know, in the grand scheme, of course, they're up 2-0, so things are looking pretty okay. But if they lose this one, then Florida State would be getting ready to win the following as well. We're gonna have to keep a close eye on Florida State here and see if they allow a round, or if they can find a round win, or if they allow Washington State to walk away with a 3-0. Amazing reaction time from Aroma there. Demetrius doesn't even get to process somebody's firing at him before he goes down early. 5v4, Florida State, first time in a long time they've got that numbers advantage. They really need one more kill, just like that, to make them feel a little more comfortable by having this player lead. It's going to be 5v, D site wide open, A site wide open, and it looks like Washington State is going for that hard push around to A.
Bans pulls out the ability, the heavy pistol, but cannot find anything with it. If he gets Drago, 1v3, it's still not great, especially when D-Bans is so weak, but all of a sudden, it is a little bit easier. Just a little bit.
Becomes that smaller bit easier, and a little bit is sometimes all you need. Mixter takes out Loafman. That Vandal has a lot to be pulling out of the econ of Washington State, and they weren't able to make it work out well. Florida State, they are desperate for this round win. They got, kind of high-key obliterated on Ascent. So they lost the pistol round. You can look at that as a GG go next, and they keep it moving. But 4-1, Mixter finds the kill on to D-Bans, and Florida State, they put their first round win on the board.
As expected, but as we always say, this is really the one that matters now. Bonus is gone. Both teams have been able to full buy for the most part. One did fall on the side of Florida State, so I'm interested to see if they have to force buy here. Looks like everyone is able to get what they want, though. Aroma, very little credits after this, only 300. Not that Washington State has much to work with either, but anyway. And this is really big for Washington State. They win this, and they are able to start building up an economy. They'll lose this. In Florida State, they'll still be able to buy a little bit going forward, so it's a much bigger loss here for Washington State.
Right.
And also, it'll be tied up. That means that lead will be gone.
That's the scariest thing. Washington State, they had a lead early on, and this feels very reminiscent of Florida State earlier. Florida State won the first 2 rounds on Ascent, and then hardly won anything afterwards. So maybe we're going to see that same thing happen for Washington State here. Who knows? Only time and the players will tell. But let's not look too far into the future. Let's look at what we've got going on with very eyes right here, right now. It's going to be this 5v5 matchup. We've gone quite a while without a first blood, so nobody going for attention, nobody overplaying their hand when they can't afford it, and it's Loafmane finds that first kill onto Migs, down to 55 HP. No healer on the side of Washington State, so maybe Florida State can find a way to capitalize on that later.
I really like what they did after that. After they got the elimination, they went for the one-way cloud smoke. Not ready for that, though, and now Drago's on point, and they have complete control.
This feels much more reminiscent of the Florida State I've been waiting for. One of the #1 things I complimented this team on was their ability to take a site and hold it like it was the last thing they were ever going to receive in their lives. So far, it looks like they've been able to kind of find their footing. They've really been struggling. They're in a 3-3 now, but if they win this one, I think that's a great omen in what's going to be coming up next. Drago is going to find Loafmane. Demetrius down to 37 HP, can't heal off of it, and there it is. Florida State, they are going to win their expected round. This one coming up, though, is the make or break moment for Florida State. Can they take the reins once?
They should be able to. I don't think this isn't going to be a buy. So we talked about this before. WSU has no economy right now, so this should be FSU taking the lead unless a very nice thrifty round comes through. They are going to get a Marshall, it looks like, for Nifty. Interesting choice, and who has that? I don't know if they'll actually commit to it. They still have the duo of Loafman, and we said this multiple times, and I'm not going to go against it again. Anytime Loafman has his Blaze Storm, they can instantly turn the tide and win out in the craziest of fashions.
Yeah, like, as long as that Blitzstorm's online, Loafmane is a whole new beast, never before seen in power that this player can bring out. Drago with an amazing wallbang headshot on Iffy, opening up this A site once again. There goes D-Man's A site wide open. Both defenders already down. Florida State finding themselves up 4-3 as Dinsky does find that kill onto Migster. A site, like I said, wide open, ready for Florida State to engage, except everybody's there but the spike carrier. Chamber catching up a little bit late, but better late than never.
Loafman might have actually had a chance to maybe intercept that if they'd been a little bit quicker. Instead, that's going to be a plant going through. That's going to be some information. They have an idea that someone's trying to go for a rotation there. And now Drake going to try to deal with it.
Looking for that opportunity to find these kills. And Aroma already down. Demetrius, great reaction time and even better crosshair placement. Take Aroma down as quickly as humanly possible. Waiting for this next engagement to make an appearance. And wow, Loafmane walks around with the Blade Storm out for that long just to lose it. Gets to fire one blade and finds nothing off the back. Drago finds Demetrius, and this, my friends, is the Florida State we've been missing. Drago with the 4K. Finally back in the driver's seat. Let's see if they can hold on to it, though, because Washington State, they are not going to take this lying down. They are going to fight until the bitter end. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up all the way to 12 time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we saw last time we saw Haven, so it seems just like par for the course. That time, though, Washington State, they commit the Empress and the Blade Storm. Neither find too much, and I really wish they had just been a little bit more patient there. Loafmane, if they had waited for Demetrius to be there on the rotation for that crossfire, that could have been a thing of beauty. That could have been an amazing thrifty run. Instead, it's Florida State doing their due diligence, able to win a round where they had the better weapons. Now they have 2 ultimates off the back of it.
These 2 ults are hopefully everything they needed, because the pressure is against them. Dinsky gonna be able to find Drago very early on, but Okizy takes a double kill to get that vengeance. 30 HP left. It's gonna be a 4v3 hardly in favor, but the overgrowth, Chef's Kiss ability right there keeps that solo alive. 4-3, and Washington State, they've got a great opportunity to turn this around. 1 kill and they can equalize, but if he's 70 HP on their lonesome and garage here, just playing the long game, waiting. Yellow Drone's giving you up, my friend. Probably time to tuck tail and get out of dodge.
Out now. Oh, everything is being thrown into that corner. It's still Loafmane able to get 1, but 11 health. Not going to be enough to win this out. There it is. And that was the round they really needed. They finally were able to buy. Now they're going to have to save once more. And this time they don't have a Blaze Storm to rely on. Florida State, like you said, this is the team that we were expecting going into this, and they have finally arrived.
Yeah, and like I mentioned a moment ago, you know, better late than never. I'd appreciate if they were able to show up a bit earlier, but they're here, and that is truly all like this one. Can they carry this victory to the bitter end, though, Jag? That is the question. If they win this one, they get to take us all the way to that 3rd map. They take us all the way to Icebox, but that's assuming they get to hold on to this lead for as long as they have. Pressure's on. That's all that truly needs to be said right now. Is the pressure's on and the odds are stacked against them in the way that Washington State has these situations around before. 4 ultimates at the ready. They're in a 5v5 situation. Iffy, never mind. Eliminates makes sure makes it a 5v4 in favor of Washington State. They've lost the lead for the first time in a long time. They're desperate to take it back, and they'll do anything to make that happen.
Yeah, this is a thrifty round, or this is a save round, so this could be thrifty. They find a few more eliminations. I think they've got a pretty good idea that it's going to be after that recon bomb. And Loafmane trying to hold the angle with the Marshall. Has to get a headshot for that to be an insta-kill.
Yeah, the Marshall, like you said, has to be a headshot. Guaranteed that it will be an kill ability. Already 5v3, things looking worse and worse for our friends on the side of Florida State. They can try their absolute darndest, but there is just no progress making an appearance for this team quite yet.
This would be a huge blow to Florida. If they lose this, it looks like they should have a pretty nice lead, but now they are falling behind. Japan's gonna have to teleport out of there, and that might be the go button for A. You can already see the rotations coming through, so even with a slight advantage for a little bit, all of a sudden, not even a slight advantage, now it's just even, and they still have the better weaponry.
Yeah, the better weaponry in hand of Florida State. They're going to have to use these secret to really try and make up the lost time. They were 5v3'd for a moment. They hard rush A site, and then Spike has been planted. They forced Washington State to play their hand because they let the spike go off. Quite obviously, they're going to be around. And here comes some great action from Drago as well. Finds Iffy in that back line.
Enemy remaining.
This is going to become more and more difficult for Washington State. Demetrius down. Dinsky, a sheriff, and a dream. Finds 1. Can you find 2 more? Dinsky goes down, and Florida State, they just hardly clutch out that round win.
It seems like that Washington State tries to go for this approach quite a bit. They try to go for a flank, but they never time it quite right. We saw this quite a bit with Loafmane earlier on. This time, it is Dinsky who's playing all the way behind. It leads to off point. There are 2 chasing 1 person, so there's actually a chance for a 2v1 on the spike.
Right.
They don't chase it. They don't know, and there it's another round going the way of Florida State. Only 1 away from guaranteed at least tie at halftime. The Loafmane does have that operator in hand. That could be what turns the tide.
They're looking to turn the tide for sure. Loafmane in particular, a very strong individual player. They've been struggling to find their momentum here in the latter, situation of what we've seen on Haven. They're down 5-2, but We've seen people make crazier comebacks. I feel like I've said that 1,000 times, but I really want to drive that point home. Just because you are up 5-2 by no means guarantees you a 13-round victory in Loaf Main. Speak of the devil, going to be able to find that value early. Takes Florida State Sova clean offline.
Here.
And if they could turn it around. They could get 5 rounds in a row, make it 7-5. So not even a lead is guaranteed, not even a tie. You still have to play for everything right now for FSU, and with that equalizer, they're still playing hard.
The equalizer on the line, and they know it. Mixer is going to be able to find D-Vance 4v3, make it 3v3. Demetrius gets that equalizer onto mid. All of a sudden, it becomes that much harder for Florida State to walk away with another round win. We've seen them clutch out crazier moments. We saw them clutch a 3v5, just 1 round to go in Aroma, looking to clutch out another one. Going to be able to find Iffy 3-2-2. 2 ultimates at the ready on the side of FSU, but hopefully they keep those for a rainy day because they should just win this clean firefight.
They feel like with the spikes being planted too. You saw that there was an attempted rotation, but they might just save here. They might just say, no, we're going to keep this operator, not even try to go for this. No, actually, oh, this is Drago having a great angle.
Drago has the angle and the flash. Oh my goodness, Loaf Main just obliterated before our very eyes. Does not even get to play the game for that moment. Now Demetrius, who has not had the greatest day so far, consistently the bottom frag on the side of Washington State, is the last one left alive, and I can't say I blame him. Were I in their situation, I think it is the better play to just go into hiding, go for that save.
Keep the operator, that would have been huge, but that's not how completely off the table, so you're really just playing for yourself, for your Vandal. Your team won't be able to full buy, but at least you'll have something that you could give to someone, maybe give over to your Jet, or maybe just keep it for yourself. It's a weapon, and not much more else can be set up than that. As you saw, the operator is in the hands of Draco now. I'm sure he's going to be very happy to try to use it. Loaf Main, and if he can't full buy, so this is going to be a bit of a half buy, or maybe a forced buy. It looks like that is what it's going to be. Loaf Main can only go for the Marshall. This is where things are really starting to fall apart. It looks like Florida State is just being able to run away with this.
Yeah, Florida State has 100% found their footing, and as I keep saying on Haven, for some reason, to so many situations, better late than never. Truly, it has been an uphill climb for them. They got kind of severely steamrolled on Ascent, and now they've really been able to return the favor to Washington State, who's only put 2 rounds away. One they're statistically expected to win, the other they win by the skin of their absolute teeth. Florida State, they are looking for every single possible opportunity to walk away with this round win, with this game win, excuse me, because they want to force a map 3. They want to go all the way to the end of Grand.
They want to get to Icebox. That is the goal. Step 1, Icebox. Step 2, Champions. Still the way to go, though. 7 rounds still needed, and while this attacking side is looking very crisp, you never know what can happen once you swap. This is definitely an attacker-sided map just because
Absolutely.
of 3 points. It's so hard to cover as a defender. You're split way more than you would be anywhere else because of how much ground you have to cover. And maybe when Washington State gets on that half, they can do as well as their counterparts have. But for now, Florida State, ultimates, weapons, momentum, everything is an advantage towards them.
Play your cards.
You want to
right,
fight it?
Everything
30
can
seconds
be an
left.
advantage. Speaking of which, an ultimate and possibly divide making an appearance from Florida State with a hard push onto Seaside. Dinsky has a message for him. Pick anywhere else. That's a 4K already. Washington State not quite going to land that flawless, as Miggs has a lot to say about it. 2K already, 30 HP, and D-Ban's going to be able to find that kill. Mixer goes down. That was a decent loss to have if you're going to lose a round, but you've definitely handed a lot of weapons over to State.
Have the operator goes back, which is huge, and that's probably going to go in the way of Loaf Main. There it is, so their favorite weapon of choice back in their hand. I think the biggest thing is that it keeps the draw on the table now. That tie could come into fruition depending on how Washington State plays this. There's no guaranteed lead yet on the board for Florida State, which is really not great considering how well they have played overall, how big this lead has been. And if they falter here at the last second, if they falter here in the last few rounds, all of a sudden everything is going the way of Washington after being beaten down for quite a bit.
Yeah, 100%. Now Washington State trying to deliver a beatdown of their own. Dinsky goes for that Hunter's Fury, not able to find any purchase, unfortunately, so another ultimate down the drain for Washington State, but they're not too worried. Like you said, there's not even a guaranteed lead yet for Florida State in this second half because they might be able to tie things up 6-6. Washington State, they need to play calm, cool, and collected. Every mistake could be their last. It could be the crucial one they weren't supposed to make. So every single play needs to be as calculated as they can.
Oh, Dinsky. Just really careful. There's people on that door. That interaction's happening. Dinsky wins the first one. Where's the follow-up? There it is. Okay, so they get a 2-for-1 trade. That could have actually been a 2-for-0. But now you see that everyone is rotating towards C, and the C take is attempted to be on at least.
Yeah, the C take is something that really has not been working out super well so far, but I mean, more power to you, my friends. Retro is going to fall, makes this a 3v3, and Biggs does secure the spike plant. Now, can you secure a spike victory here? Can you win the round off of it? Cosmic Divide commitment from Washington State. A bold thing to do, but one that's definitely going to shake it up a little bit. Now the Hunters, Fury from Florida State. Honestly, I like the idea. It really forced them into that back corner. They were caught out on the cubby and ripped to shreds by Florida State. They are not going to let Washington turn that single round win into a long-term victory. They're going to steal that momentum straight back and give themselves a guaranteed advantage going into the second.
Yep, the lead has been secured, so what I just talked about is, yeah, kind of off the table. Not kind of, it is completely off the table. Florida State will at least have 7-5, which is good, not great. I think one more round win, which they should be able to get here, because this does look like it's going to be a save from Washington State University. Will really secure a nice advantage where you don't have to worry about losing the pistol in the round immediately after that, and then it's tie game again. This time you will have at least a bit of a buffer.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point there. Is honestly that they need to make sure they win at least that 8th one, because win 7, all the other team has to do is, if you go 7-5, all they have to do is win 2 more and they've tied you up. So Drago is going to be able to find that elimination. Hopefully this is looking very good out the gate for Florida. They're already in a 5v3 scenario. Definitely not where Washington wants to be looking at. Drago beats a cruel fate in the form of a sheriff if he able to get that headshot kill. Pressure all over here for Florida State. They're up by just 1. Sorry, they're up by 2. And Aroma takes out Dinsky. If he does find that kill onto Miggs, it's up to this Astra to save the day. If he found 1 kill, can you find any more, my friend?
Lovemain had the Blaze Storm out, so that win condition that was so clutch for them in the last series, twice, nothing. Just immediately gets popped around the corner, doesn't have the right read on it. Now it's down to Iffy. Does have a Vandal, but no armor. Against 3 people. That's 1. Can you get 2 more? Can you somehow win this?
It would be incredible, to say the least. It truly would. To see an Astra come out in 1v3 clutch, the spike already entering one of its latter halves. Yep, gets distracted by the chamber util and bites the bullet for it. That is going to be the 8th round win. That gives, at best, that gives Florida State a 3-round lead. And that is a comfortable spot to be, I think. That or any higher, keep Florida State in there.
And the 9-3 curse did not turn out to be true last time around. That was 9-3 at the half for WashU, and then immediately they're able to win it out in regulation. Florida State, I'm sure, again, they don't really care about that either, so they're going to be going for that round win. 9-3, that's where things get really tricky for WashU going into the second half. They're really going to struggle a bit, even if they do have a good start. This round win is very important for them, but all they have is Empress. Can buy. This is their last buy of the half and last round of the half. One of the few they've really been able to go for a full buy here.
Yeah, they want to go for that full buy, like you said. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to use as many ultimates as you can. You want to find some kills early, and a great way to do that is, of course, that chamber ultimate. That slightly buffed operator would be really, I think, a great playmaker in the form of helping Florida State find an early elimination down one of these sites. Now Drago goes for that kill with the op, but actually catches the door, does not find the appropriate wall bang, and the Sova lives to tell the tale. So Drago definitely beating themselves up there. They weren't able to find that 1-player advantage of the team. Just pot-shotting into the Oblivion now, looking for an opportunity of their own.
One's fallen, just it's been a very slow round. Bladestorm was popped early, but beyond that, nothing has happened. Since he had to hold this at one point, wasn't able to win it out, and these Seekers now are really going to open up things, but so is that Operator shot.
The op shot finally connecting. Aroma goes down. Washington State, they were looking for that one for a while. They're chasing after Okazi for a bit, but Okazi was able to keep themselves alive. And now it's going to be all about this rotation back into A site. It feels like no matter what Florida State does, somehow they continuously find themselves back on this A site. And just no matter where they start, they can rush into C, they'll do a little dance over there, and they'll rotate all the way back around to A. Drago able to find one, make it two. Iffy and Loafman already down. 10 seconds left. They've got to make the magic happen. Retro going for the plant. You need 4.5 to plant. As we saw on the last game, it can truly come down to that spike plant moment, so they get it down. Demetrius takes out Migs. Dinsky finds Drago. Evans finds Retro. It is up to Okazi, this solo hunter, this lone wolf, to save the world. He pulls out his bow at a pretty unfortunate time. Looks for the shock dart kill. Actually going to eat one of his own. 17 HP, and there is... No, it doesn't kill! No way! Okazi finds Dinsky, gets the fake out as well, and Demetrius finds it with a... Okay, to secure the round win. Washington State only 4 rounds away from catching up to Florida State, but that is the last round and a half, and Florida State, they are certainly walking away in the lead.
Said this about Washington on Icebox because they were able to close, or not on Icebox, on I believe Ascent. Yeah, on Ascent. I'm trying to remember what it was. It might have been Icebox. I think it was Icebox. Regardless, I was talking about momentum and how winning the last round before a half can really change the tide, can really swing things. Just one round, that's all it takes. But
right.
You're able to take that into the pistol and into the round after that, and then you lose the bonus, but you keep going after that. It all can add up. That could be what Washington needed there. Didn't even use the Empress there to get that done. We'll see how things come into existence, as right now all Washington State has to worry about is that pistol round. And I think really what they're trying to do now is avoid Florida State getting the double digits. If they get to 10, that becomes a very, I'm going to steal this from you, a Herculean task to overcome that big of a lead.
Yeah, this lead is going to become larger and larger for Florida State. If they win this pistol round, they're going to be able to find that double-digit kind of momentous moment and might be able to really start tearing up Washington after it. But if Washington wants to turn anything around, this is their time to shine. They need to come out on top of this pistol round because they are then expected to win the following, which will make it an 8-6. They just have to win a thrifty somewhere in the middle there, and they can really start getting a run for their money. But it's Drago who finds that first kill. Washington already going to be in a 5-4 deficit. Are they going to be able to capitalize off the back of it? Okazi, 5 HP and hardly a dream. He's stuck in a nightmare right now. Caught somebody. Quick Dinsky and Loafman getting kills of their own. Demetrius finds Okazi, and all of a sudden, Washington State, they go from a 5-4 deficit to a 4-2 lead. They are looking to kill. They are out for blood, and if they win this one, like I said, they are really going to be able to start giving Florida State a run for their money once again.
You know exactly where at least one of them is, probably assuming that the other one is there as well. Shots on shots, no one falls.
Oh!
Big's
Wow!
able to get one, that's huge.
Bigster picks up 2, but unfortunately, you needed 2 more. That is going to be Washington State winning the pistol round, keeping their dream of success alive, and getting pretty ready to call this a half. They're going to be able to find that first one. If they can catch up, they can tie things early on, that would be great. Maybe we go all the way to 14-12 overtime again, right? We saw that's what Washington loves to do here.
Do love to come back on this map, don't they? I mean, this was, actually, now that I think about it, this is the exact scoreline they were down by in the previous match. It was 8-4 going to half, and then they were able to get momentum built off of it. So they did win that last round before the half, and then everything started to change. So this is really in their wheelhouse. They did struggle a little bit on the second round last time. They won it, but they did lose a lot along the way, so this time it has to be a bit cleaner.
Yeah, I think cleaner is certainly the word for it. And okay, all right, that's enough slices. Demetrius and Iffy walking in and tearing up Washington. Aroma able to find Loafman on the way out. That started really strong. It was a 4-for-1 trade, but Aroma making it all the worse. Iffy gonna be able to secure that final kill, and Washington State wins, but with only 2 left, that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, now they're at a really big deficit, because sometimes you're able to win out on this bonus despite the fact that you're able to, the fact that you have worse weapons. Sorry, I got distracted by a little message from our producer. But here, because they lost so many along the way, the fact that they're buying Spectres actually puts them in a really bad spot for the round where they're supposed to be even up. So they are going to force a little bit here. That could be disastrous, or it could not matter. Maybe buying the Spectres here is enough regardless.
Yeah, I would love to see buying the Spectres making enough of an impact to keep this a little bit closer than we've been seeing so far. And right now, it truly does feel like we're in a situation where Washington has started to find their footing, but Florida State, they are doing a great job giving Washington a good run for their money. It's going to be 8-6. Washington, they are desperate to try and tie things up as early and as aggressively as possible, but only time will tell on whether or not they're going to be able to keep this momentum rolling. Retro goes in quick through mid there with the trying to get any kind of reconnaissance or information on where the opponents may be. but it is a rotate through garage that may turn into an absolute bloodbath. A lot of players love to hang out in that upper window and make sure that nobody's able to get through, not on their side, right? But Demetrius, a leader in is going to be a great opportunity. However, Mixer and Aroma going to be able to find the kills, and the spike is on site right now. It is not planted. It was dropped by Demetrius. Florida State, they know where the spike is. They've got the numbers advantage, and they've got everybody in that garage trapped like rodents right now.
Yeah, they got someone really weak. It was I believe it was the Sky actually did end up falling. I think the Astra was weak too, but then ended up getting healed. So it's looking pretty dire now, especially for Dinksy, who only has a Sheriff. There's another Spectre actually on the ground right now, just hasn't been able to pick it up yet. Wolfmane is going to be caught out, and they put their knife up at the worst time. I think if they had their gun out, they would have won that.
Timing is everything, my friends. The proof in the pudding on that one. This isn't possible to win, but realistically, it's tough. You're a Sova, you have a pistol, I think, and yeah, okay, you were at like 10 HP. That was a round that was going to be really difficult to win, but it's really not the end of the world. We're going to see Florida State only up by 3 rounds. Washington, they've had the momentum snatched just a little bit, but they're going to be able to keep this kind of pacing alive. They forced up that last round, so they kind of have to hand this one over to Florida State, allowing them to reach double digits. Florida State, they are desperate to take us to that ice box.
Here we're talking about, because they bought those Spectres, Wolfmane has to go in with a Frenzy. I was thinking maybe they go for a Judge or a Bucky, some sort of shotgun, but a Frenzy. That is what they have to work with right now. Everyone else will be able to have a full buy, but that's not what you want on one of your best players. You want a much better weapon.
Yeah, 100%. You want to be having that stronger weapon on one of your players making an appearance early on. We hear a Bladestorm. Speaking of better weapons, I believe it is on the side of Washington State. Yeah, there it is. So I'm literally spectating Loafmane. I'm staring at the taskbar at the top trying to figure out who it is. But anywho, we are going to see that Bladestorm. Loafmane has not had great successes so far. In terms of these Bladestorms, has used 2, I think, and neither of them got any kills. So I want to see if it's going to be... Oh, no, I'm sorry. One of them got a double kill. I don't know what I'm saying. Anywho, Loafmane really going to have to make some waves with this one to secure a 7th round win for Washington. If Washington wins this one in a thrifty fashion, that should secure them the following round as well, assuming they can win via all 5 eliminations.
Yeah, and this Bladestorm, it does find value. It could be huge. I think the plan was basically we're going to just get a sidearm and then go for the first alt orb, and then we have it. But this is interesting. They delayed the plan. They could have actually had it done for much longer, and because of that, they end up losing their Sova. It's a 1v2 trade, 2v2 trade. Now it's a 3v3 on the point. Empress popped as well, and all of a sudden, Washington State, maybe they turn this around.
Yeah, the trades just, by golly, across the board there. It looks like Washington State has that one advantage, and Empress popped as well, and everybody is on site right now. It is a full-blown dance party. Everybody that is watching live is invited, and the dance will come to a close very quickly. Demetrius finally coming to life, very reminiscent of that last series. 4K on the round. Washington State, they won what they were not supposed to. Can they continue moving forward? This is going to be a tough one, but they've got plenty of weapons to work with. Florida State cannot pull by.
That's the best part about the Empress, is that you instantly heal off of any kill that you get. So,
right.
I mean, I know that some players are like, I've heard specifically that players don't like that. It does speed up the rate of fire, which is good in a firefight, but sometimes it can also kind of screw up how you, like, I'll think of an example. Like, in Overwatch, Lucio speed makes you go to speed a lot quicker. It's the same thing here. Like, if you aren't used to how fast you're firing away, it can be really dangerous. You could miss your shots, but there, Aroma did not miss anything.
Aroma just a very gentle / simple one tap to the brain is all it takes on occasion. Florida State, they find themselves up 5v4
save round too.
Very quickly. A save round committing this chamber ult is a courageous move. It realistically is, but if it works out well, I mean, you found an elimination already.
Absolutely, and the position you have is really hard for really anyone to attack, so that's all B. This drone's not going to find out the Sova hiding in the corners, so this is very dangerous for the attackers. Washington State has to really think about their next move here.
The next move could very well be their last one of the round. They're already down a player. OKZ finds no way! Oh my goodness! Beautiful. You know, to good players, that's probably that impressive. If I did that, I would clip it because that's just so stinking cool. Now, OKZ does fall if he is going to be able to find that kill out of it. They reclaim spike presence as well, but you're in a 2v4. Drago dashes the wrong way, so immediately gets himself stuck behind boxes. Maybe you smoke and kind of slow walk your way out of there, but you've got to be careful of the spray and pray right now. There is a poke through. Drago takes them both down, and Florida State, they're going to win another round, securing those double digits.
That was just so unfortunate for Washington State. We saw them walk right past it, and I believe actually Deansky just looked and then looked away and then looked back, and it was already too late. Slight hesitation. It is killer in this game, literally and figuratively. Florida State, great thrifty round, able to get a lot of free guns. And now Washington State has an interesting dilemma of whether or not they force buy. They do have 3 assault rifles online for now. Might have to settle on 2 sidearms. No Blaze Storm this time to help them out. Washington State, if they had won that last round, that would have just been, you know, everything is fine. But because of that loss, they're in a very weird scenario.
You want to fight it?
Here comes a Cosmic Divide from the side of, I believe, Washington State. They're trying to get a little bit more aggressive here and see if they can really start to give Florida State a run for their money. A teleport destroyed out the gate, trying to force Florida to not be able to re-engage or to move any of the chokes, find their way in. Demetrius going for the off-center spike plan that's going to force the team, like I mentioned, have a bit of a slower approach in. They probably won't know where the spike is straight away, and that buys Florida State more time. We've now got a bit of a cube scenario going on where both Cosmic Divides have been committed early on, so a lot of folks going to be lost in the sauce here on this one. Aroma finds one, Loafman finds another. Okizy, that is your own teammate, my friend. Aroma goes down. Retro and Drago trying to make up for the lost player. 3v2 in favor of Florida State, but Drago has had enough. It is up to Dinsky to save the world. The Hunter's Fury trying to buy more time, but as long as this last one... Oh, that kills! Unfortunately, they've got more than enough time to get away to the low. They don't!
They don't have enough
the
time. Wow.
Saves it. By golly, I thought there was a little more time on the clock, but no. Washington State wins single-handedly because of that Hunter's.
Not only that, but on the side of Florida, they commit the Cosmic Divide, and I really didn't get it because I felt like they were at, I think, a slight disadvantage there, but they still had the better firepower overall, so they really could have ran in. There's also Iffy, who is on a flank. Not sure if they're aware of that, but that was really a 4v3, I think, going into that scenario. So that was very interesting. Looks like Sepsilence might have to reset their audio, so we'll see how that goes. For now, I am going to try to cast until they are back. So that's whenever you are back, just let me know. But in the meantime, round 19 is starting off. That Chamber Ultimate is now online and has now been found. So that orb is picked up.
You want to play,
we're able to buy
play.
fully. So there is the Chamber Ultimate. Fully online, now locked and loaded. Worked out really well for Florida State last time. They're able to use their teleporter to get up into places you might not expect. Dinksy able to win that first battle onto Retro. And I think Sepsilence, you are back, so you can take it away from here. Maybe not. Looks like I am still here, but in the meantime, Florida State, they are losing members left, right, and center. They use the Blaze Storm. Drago barely able to win that one out. Actually has a lot more health than I thought, but ends up hitting biting the bullet immediately after. Was like, hey, trying to find something, but Dinsky finds 3
Oh man, that's crazy.
on this round.
Oh, my back. Hello.
You are back now
I have
officially.
no. Everything was working but my Discord. I have no idea what just happened. But anywho, I've returned, and yeah, that was a pretty fascinating round. We're seeing Washington State really starting to claw back this loss. You can obviously look at the score, but I mean, the first half they were just getting obliterated. But now they're down by only a single round. They've got some weapons to work with. It looks like they're gonna
More
like
so
they're
than
gonna be
on the other
able to
side.
that full buy.
Yeah, they can after, just moving around some assets. Florida State finding themselves on the opposite end of that, having to go for a save. But last time they're able to win off of a thrifty, so I really am not counting Florida State out of this, especially with the Seekers.
Absolutely.
They use those early, catch someone off guard, take a weapon away, and all of a sudden the round is flipped. And Drago does have a Vandal. That's the only one who I think was able to buy assault rifle. In this angle they're holding, very dangerous.
Yeah, Drago has been that power player this entire time, and we've said that name probably more than anybody else in this lobby, full disclosure. They have been a powerhouse to the highest degree, and now we're going to have to see what they can do moving forward in terms of carrying this team to a victory. It's going to be Aroma, the first one to go down. Loafman, one of those power players as well to carry up Washington State so far, trying to find some value, but giving their teammates enough room to find these engagements. Okizy finds D-Bands, now tied up 4-4. Drago, oh, does not get to play the game. Iffy with a great shot there. Here comes Okizy trying to save the day, but it's Retro who picks up that kill. A 3-3 lineup now. A lot of health has been lost on the side of Florida State. They are at a serious deficit.
They might be able to catch out this Reyna in hell. No, they don't. Not quick enough. No, and this is really big. That's 1, that's 2. Is it 3? Able to get Wraith away while everyone else rotates. Iffy there in time. And all of a sudden, we got a tie ball game. Sepsilence. It is 10-10 after what was an 8-4 start. And this is exactly reminiscent of what we saw from Washington State on Haven. against USF. It doesn't matter what team, as long as they're from Florida, they are not doing well enough against Washington State.
It's a damn near perfect match. I mean, this is exactly what happened. I'm pretty sure the tie-up happened at that 10-10 marker as well, so that just really goes the extra mile in terms of giving us a narrative that we didn't even write. It's truly writing itself.
Script writers outdoing themselves.
Yeah, they really are. Our script writers here at the EGFC know exactly how to give us a good story. That's a joke. This is actually happening. It's not scripted, I promise. Okay, anyway, Washington State, they are in a good spot, yet at the same time, they have found themselves in a horrible position because they're in this 10-10. They've got a couple of weapons to work with, but as long as this Jet is alive, this feels so, not impossible, but really tough to turn around.
It's also a buy around Florida State, so they're on an even footing, and they still have those Seekers, which could really turn the tide, give a lot of recon, as well as stun some people up. So FSU, you know, they lost a few rounds, but they're not looking awful.
Right.
It really comes down to, I think, the first elimination. Whoever gets the first one is just going to be so much better off. And D-Bands, you got to be so careful right now. You're being so risky.
Yeah, Aroma has been, I believe, the first blood 3 out of the last 5 rounds. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a lot. It's been happening a lot recently. That's not something we saw a lot when he was on the Cypher, so a big change of pace. But as I say, Migs picking up a double kill early on. Loafman going to be able to find Migs here. That's a 4v3 in favor of Florida State. Loafman, 11 HP in a dream. The spike as well in the hands of this Jet player who is really just getting absolutely collapsed on. 2 through Garage, it seems, and 2 to the back line. Aroma finds 1 before Bands finds that elimination, but Okazi is there to put Bands 6 feet under. Florida State winning their 11th round, 2 away from guaranteeing a map 3. But that same breath, Washington State 3 away from winning 2-0.
Doesn't have to be a save, though, or maybe one of those Frankenstein buys. You could have Loafman force the Blade Storm again. It's really dangerous right now, because if you force here and you lose, it's over. So it looks like they are going to go for just a bit of a save here. Going to play for next round. I'm sure the Blade Storm will come out. Maybe the Empress if they get a gun off of it. This is really on a knife's edge. Anyone, I mean, it's definitely in favor of Florida State right now just because of what they have, but it still feels like there is a chance for WSU to somehow pull this out.
100%. WSU, they have been fighting every single thing they've had. They have put everything they own on the table, and they are looking to trade it all for a chance to win here tonight. It's going to be Loafman with a Blade Storm kill already. If he takes out Aroma, already 5v3 Washington State, they are storming into this C site. They want to get these kills as quickly and efficiently as possible. Every player they lose is more that their econ can't afford as we move on. They need to find these kills as early and as efficiently as possible. Demetrius has the Empress, choosing not to use it. A fascinating choice, but not one that I'm going to talk poorly of. I think it makes a lot of sense to play as slow as you need to. You've planted the spike, let Florida State push into you and capitalize off of the mistakes that they make.
Oh, Dingsy, you gotta be checking those corners. So it looks like there's 2 right here on this angle, or at least it's actually Loafman who's gonna be checking the gate. I don't know if Florida State is gonna push this. I think they're too worried about losing their guns. I think they're just gonna play for exit frags at this point.
Blank for exit frags may be the way to do it. Honestly, you may lose the round, but if you can fully reset their economy, they lose a lot. Now, Retro is going to immediately find a trade coming through, and the thrifty round win does go in favor of Washington State. A great exit frag for Okize. Another one! Wow! Oh, what a pre-fire on the corner there. Washington State, they've got to be upset about that one because their economy can just barely afford that turnaround. Loafman, did you run? Yeah,
I love the chat. Like, I wish we could see more of that because both teams have, you know, every time we see today when they use the chat, they've been like having fun, being really respectful, nothing toxic, which I love to see, you know?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of, they're your opponents, but everyone's here because they love the game. Anyway, it is going to be an operator for Drago, but 2 sidearms for the side of FSU, so not as strong as they'd like to have it. One of them is because of that ultimate, and oh my goodness, Drago just, that operator just doing Drago things.
Drago simply doing Drago things. And yeah, I want to talk about that again a little bit more before we jump into this. I really like it that there's been nothing short of good sportsmanship between these players today. We've had a lot of tech issues. We've had a lot of things we needed to get figured out. And everybody was just here to have a good time. Nothing but respect, nothing but fun. And that's arguably the best thing about esports. So a huge shout out to any players that are watching right now. We're just simply being good people, at least while working with us here at the EGFC. We really appreciate that. And now it's going to be this aggression coming out 5v4. Florida State, they're looking for that 12th round win. It doesn't guarantee them the win, but of course it gets them just that one round closer. They're looking to take this opportunity and run as far as they possibly can with an Aroma, and D-Bands immediately traded out Okize. Going Okize, wow, that is a tough name. D-Bands able to find Retro as well. The Hunter's Fury picks up Null and Void.
Really hits their teammate.
Here. Oh,
it hit
goodness.
Drago.
Oh, no, it did. Oh.
It wasn't a ton of damage. I will say that.
But
It only did about.
every tick counts.
That's so true. And now it's a 2v2.
30 seconds left.
Oh no, I didn't even realize, but you're completely right. That did take out their own teammate, and now it's a 2v2. That's a tough one for sure. Washington State and Florida State going toe-to-toe here, a 2v2. Whoever wins this one finds themselves in such a positive position to move forward. They give themselves one round of leeway to walk away with a grand finals victory or to force a map 3, but Washington State has had enough. D-Bands in particular finding a 4K in that round. Washington State, they are one round away, believe it or not, folks, one round away from winning grand finals. This is going to be Florida State desperate to win this round. They want this like they want their next breath, but Washington State, they are no stranger to being in this exact situation and walking away victorious.
They have to force buy. This is all they can afford right now. That is it. And we'll have to see how this goes. We're hearing from production, they think that Florida State will bring it back to OT. We'll see if they can get it done. Because if they don't win it here, it is over. Florida State, they win, it's going to be OT. Washington State, they win, it's just a championship for them. 4 ultimates on their side, better weaponry. Everything seems to be the way of WSU, but nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is free in Valorant. We're going to see who cashes in as if he almost the first to fall.
Like you said, nothing is free in the world of Valorant. There are no favors here. You've got to work for every single round. Winning D-Bands trying to carry his team to that victory. Aroma, the first to fall. Florida State already in a 5v4 deficit. Demetrius on the C side waiting for the opportunity to engage here. Washington State, they're desperate, but they're not desperate enough here on the side of Florida State. Demetrius going for that spike plant in the long side off center. I love that rotation around. Team usually expects to be on the box, but Migs with the wallbang kill gives their life. They die for the cause. Can Florida State clutch this out? No, I believe Washington State has done it. We are going to need Okazi to give us the absolute clutch of a lifetime and further, but it is D-Bands with the one shot, one kill. Washington State is officially your EGFC Valorant Grand Finals champions. Chef's Kiss Purvey, the Power Series comes to a close with a 2-0 victory. Florida State never having lost a map and then losing 2 back-to-back. Washington State, my hat off to you. A phenomenal fight to get here and win it all.
Isn't that crazy? You don't drop a single map until the grand finals, and then you can't win one at all. It's an 0-2 loss. That second map, though, very close. The first one, you know, that is going to be one that you're not going to write home about. A very one-sided affair. But that second map, Haven, it was so close. We're going their way. But once they get on the defense, it just didn't seem like they could find any momentum. The attacker-sidedness of that map really going the way of WSU. And once again, they just prove it doesn't matter how bad they fall behind on Haven. They always find a way to get back into it.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to throw to one more break tonight, folks. We're going to pull Loaf Main in for an interview. We'll be right back with that interview in just a couple of minutes. Don't go far.
Stay battling, going around, juggling that, and around, juggling that, we get madder. Stay battling, going around, juggling that, and around, juggling that, I get madder. Stay battling, going around, juggling that, and 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 around, juggling
like to.
Boy, you looking at my type, but tell me, can you hit it right? Cause if I let you in tonight, you better put it down. Now we do it all the talk, I ain't playing anymore. You heard me when I said before, you better put it down. Let me say, you the one I like. Come up with your body on might. Keep it up all night. Don't let me down. All night, give me that love. All night, give me that love. All night, give me that love. Yeah, don't let me down. All night, give me that love. All night, give me that love. All night, give me that love. Yeah, don't let me down. You come over, we can chill. Can you tell her how you feel? But baby, know I like the girl. When you put it down. I'm alright on my own. Wish you I'm in the zone.
Good evening, everybody. One more good evening, our final one of the night, actually, and welcome back to the end of the EGFC Power Series 2021 Valorant. We are going to be joined by Loafmane in just a second here. A dominant victor there for Washington State University. And Loafmane, a very simple question to start this off, my friend. Just, you guys go through, you demolish a team that came into this completely undefeated. So how does that feel? You win. You are the grand finals champion. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot because you know, our team, we've had a lot of like losses, not a whole lot of success, and like finally we actually won something for once. So I'm really proud of my team. I'm proud of my coach, Caleb Ree.
Hey, what's up? The boomer.
But yeah, it feels great. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask in particular, you know, going up against this team, a team that entering grand finals was undefeated, is there anything you guys did differently or anything you changed for this team specifically, or did you just come in playing your tried and true?
I mean, we kind of just came in like guns blazing, honestly. Like, we didn't have a whole lot of time to prep, honestly. This morning, actually, I was still in bed right there, like at 12, and it was like my team captain like called me on Snapchat and told me to wake up. And then I don't know, it just felt right, I guess. Like all the games I played, I did my part. Team did its part.
I think you did more than your part. You were tearing it up in some of those earlier. I mean, you were on the top of the leaderboard every time.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that I think good is an understatement. You did terrific. I mean, the whole team really popped off, but you in particular were the star of the show, in my opinion. I gotta ask first, how does it feel to conquer all of Florida, beating both USF and FSU today?
I honestly don't even know. Like, it, all these guys are undefeated, and like, I honestly thought we weren't gonna make it that far in the brackets and whatnot, but we pulled through.
You did
All I
quite the
can say
opposite.
there. Yeah, exactly. All I can say there is West Coast, best coast. I was
For
born in
real.
Boston, but I actually grew up in the Seattle area, specifically in Sammamish, Issaquah.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
grew
sure
up in
if you know that area.
Sammamish? I'm from Sammamish.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh wait, okay, we gotta talk
Yeah.
about that later.
Small world.
Anyway, yeah, I
That's
went to
a
Discovery
small-
Elementary School,
Yeah.
but I moved back
Oh,
to the Boston
Discovery? Yeah,
area.
I know where that's at. Yeah. That's
Awesome.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
tiny world. That's crazy. Anyway, I wanted to ask you. So on Haven, in both matches we got to see on stream today, you guys fell behind 4-8 both times, and yet
Yeah.
somehow just immediately were able to bounce back. First in the semifinal, able to bring it to overtime and win it there pretty cleanly, two rounds back to back, and then in the grand final, just able to win in regulation, a close regulation, 13-11, but. What was it like? What is it kind of like? What's the vibe like when you guys are down, and how do you bounce back like that?
I mean, honestly, we just try to keep the like positivity up. You know, we calm. If we lose a round, it's all good. We focus on the next one. And like, honestly, there was some very like big individual plays from every one of us. So
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about, you guys being your team in particular, is a lot of other teams today we've seen that had kind of individual carries, individual players that would kind of take the team and elevate them to win. And then when that player disappeared, the teams would crumble. But you guys didn't have that problem because all of you were playing so consistently and so impressively. And I think that's a huge part of the reason you were able to win today is just you weren't carried by a single person. I think that goes a really long way.
Exactly. Honestly, like I on that last map on Haven, I was not doing that well, and my teammate Matt Demetrius, he picked it up for me. He was a really big, impactful player. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, 100%. So one more question, a very simple one, pulls us out of the game a little bit just to hear about you more as a player. Is there anybody you want to give a general thank you or just a shout out to while we've got you here with us?
Honestly, like, come here.
Hey, what's up?
This is Caleb.
Hey, what's up?
This guy brought me food.
I got the supply drop.
He's like our team soccer mom. So I would like to thank this man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And anyone else you want to shout out?
Shout out Dinsky. He's the love of my life. Best Sova Sky
Best
player.
Sova player.
Ever. Shout out Alex or Iffy for filling in for me.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have won the series if I was in with 100 ping.
At least he knows his limits, right? That's pretty important. That's a good thing to know. But Loafman, if you can tell your whole team, I don't know if they're watching the interview or not, but honestly, a massive congratulations to you guys.
Thank
you
you.
came out. You gave us probably some of, if not the best games of this entire thing. So thank you guys so much for everything and a huge congrats.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, shout out YJ.
And with that, folks, we are going to call it a night here. I can speak for Jag and myself when I say it was our absolute honor. It was our pleasure to be here and get to share this day, these great games, and all these great players with all of you there. A huge shout out to both Sophie and our boy Time to Light in the backline for all of the wonderful observing and spectating and producing and everything you guys saw that isn't literally just Jag and I talking was done by them. So a huge shout out to them. Thank you to all of the teams and players that made their appearances here today. We could not do this without you guys. And of course, all of the wonderful viewers, you guys watching at home. We hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. If you could drop a follow on the channel here, on Twitch, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, it is just @officialEGF. It helps us keep this all going and keep us doing what we love to do. If you want to follow me and Jag on our stuff, it's directly below us. That'd be cool, but please don't feel obligated. It's up to you. Either way, we love every single one of you guys. Check your posture, drink some water, and don't forget to love each other. We'll see you later. Have a great rest of your night.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it.